In this video, we're going to show you how to install the starter on your Nissan Frontier located in the lower passenger side of the engine. With the hood open, we're going to use a 10mm wrench to loosen this nut and disconnect the ground terminal off of our battery. Go ahead and wiggle that off and just tuck that aside. First thing, you want to go ahead and locate the starter. Now, if you locate the oil pan underneath your engine, just follow it to the passenger side, and you're going to locate the starter right here, bolted to the bell housing on the transmission. We're going to remove these two 10mm bolts here on the heat shield. We're going to use our socket and ratchet. We're going to remove the two of these here and set those aside. So up inside, it follows heat shield up underneath the exhaust manifold heat shield, and there's another bolt up inside there. I'm gonna go ahead and get to that. Now we have the steering wheel turned to the left, so we have room behind our front passenger wheel. And we have an extension right here that goes right up on the top side of the frame here. It runs through and it comes through on the other side to get that bolt above the starter on the heat shield. Now we have a 14mm socket on there. We have the extension and a swivel to get onto it. Okay, let's go ahead, loosen and remove that bolt. And as we remove that bolt, the heat shield should come out with it. Now on the side of the starter, right on the solenoid itself, there's going to be a wire that comes off and it goes to a connector right here. Now the connector itself is attached to this bracket. We just need to press in on this little tab on the starter wire connector and then separate that. You can see that pulling out, and then we have that. Now right up above it, we're going to see a larger wire loom, and it goes to a rubber cap. We need to peel this back. There we go, just slide this back. And that's going to expose a nut right here. We need to go ahead and loosen that and pull that wire off of the starter. So we have a 12mm socket on that nut and our ratchet. Let's go ahead and loosen that. We're going to take that nut right off. Then go ahead and separate that wire from the starter. Just push that up out of the way. So far at this point, all of our wires are disconnected from our starter. On the side of the starter, we have an upper bolt facing the front of the vehicle. We're going to put our 14mm gear wrench on here. And we want to go ahead and loosen this bolt. Now you can use a ratchet if you want. We're able to get to it with our gear wrench. On the lower portion of the starter, we have another 14mm bolt facing the back of the vehicle. Go. Now as you loosen this bolt, chances are that starter is going to want to start to separate. That's totally fine. gonna tap the starter. There it is. Pull that out, and then pull it towards the back and out. Go ahead and take your new starter, feed that up inside. We're gonna feed our gear drive into the bell housing. Pop that into place. Now, of your 2 bolts, you have 2, one's long, one short. Long one goes in the bottom. Go ahead and get that started. If it's easy to thread in, I like to thread it in as far as you can by hand. Install upper bolt that goes in through the front side. We'll do the same here, thread it in as far as you can by hand. Okay, go ahead and zip that down the rest of the way. Let's go ahead and torque down our 2 bolts to 33 foot-pounds. Go ahead and grab this power wire here. I'm going to slide this over this top stud. Install the lock washer, followed by the nut. So when tightening down this nut, this should be torqued to about 8 foot-pounds. If you have the ability to do so, you want to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, you want to just go ahead and make sure that that's good and tight. We have our connector right here. Simply line that up and push that into the other connector there. I'm going to push it in, make sure that it clips in, give that a little tug, and ours is locked in. So we have our main connector, our main power bolted on, and our connector attached. Starter is bolted on. We're going to install our heat shield right here. We're going to feed this up into place. We're going to install the 2 lower bolts first, and that's going to automatically line up the upper bolt. This one here is tough to get to. So by installing the 2 lowers, it's going to line it up automatically for us, taking that piece of the puzzle away. I'm going to try and install that upper bolt here. You can easily reach that with your fingers. I already got that started in there, going to thread it in as far as you can go. And I'm going to tighten this up top and tighten the upper bolt first. All right, let's go ahead and get that socket on there. I'm going to continue to tighten it by hand right there. Now this is just a heat shield. It doesn't have any structural safety concerns or anything like that. So these bolts here, you just really want to make sure that they're good and snug. That's good there. And let's go ahead and tighten down the two lower bolts. Now that we have everything installed here on our heat shield and our wires are all done, go ahead and reconnect the battery up top and you're all set. Install the ground terminal and tighten down the nut here.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.